Uh-oh, did Sonic the Hedgehog get his superhero tights mixed up with Knuckles, Sonic Flash Knuckles Superman? What? On the table today at Squirrel Stampede, a crossover I didn't expect this fall, and that is DC Sonic the Hedgehog, a crossover universe where Bat Shadow the Hedgehog exists, and Sonic Flash, Silver, Green Lantern, Corpse, and more. It's quite the large figure drop release, especially seeing DC-verse in Jack Pacific now. That's odd. So let's check out how these exist in the multiverse of Sonic, Bat, Squirrel, Hedgehog, Silver Flash. What?
Squirrel Stampede.
Please swipe.
Squash share.
And squirrel line.
This is the DC Sonic the Hedgehog crossover Power vs. Speed pack with the Shadow Bat, Green, Silver, Darkseid, and of course Sonic the Hedgehog. The Power vs. Speed pack retails for an earth-shattering $59.99. My wallet is busted. But I really wanted Shadow Bat with the electronic light-up effects. If there were two major things that kept me into toy collecting through the 90s, it was collecting Batman action figures and playing Sonic the Hedgehog. So the crossover event is a no-brainer for me. Although a little confusing on what scale I will appreciate the most. The Power vs. Speed pack is dealing with the Sonic 5-inch scale, I believe more common with the Movieverse figures and Sonic Prime, less involved with the 4-inch scale that we see with many of the classic Sonic figure line, and then they go to the 2.5-inch scale with the figure packs. So it's a little bit hard nowadays to keep your Sonics all like in the same universe of size. And we'll see how these hold up. The Sonic Primeverse figures at times are a little bit oversized for their weight to hold them up. They get a little spindly. Shadow Bat seems to have maybe some armor on those legs. Maybe he'll hold up just fine. There is a lot to unpack in just this one set box though. Over on the back of the box, we are treated to a very illuminating battle with Bat Shadow and his pals versus Darkseid. Now Darkseid in the scale of the 5-inch line or the 2.5-inch line? I think this is one of those times where it actually kind of matches. He's always just a bigger guy, so it fits just filling him into this pack and then having these guys separate. And so far I'm guessing that only Shadow Bat has the light up effect, so we will see, we will see. You can get these guys in single carded packs, of course, but then no light up effects for Bat Shadow. Does everybody got that?
I don't know, Dan. This review crossover is very weird to contemplate.
Thank you, Kane. Alright, let's figure this box out. Yeah, I think I'm going through the base here. This feels like a box that once it's opened, it will never be the same. At least there's no shortage of fine print. That does not budge. Cool graphics on this end. And... I believe I just discovered the plot of the multiverse crossover here of Sonic DC, and that is we are all trapped in this package. And if you're that type of person who wanted even more fine print for wintertime reading in front of the fireplace, you got it. Double-sided, multiple languages. Alright, are we somewhat situated here to start unboxing a figure or two? And it's probably gonna start with Shadow Bat. I'm just so in love with this figure. It is so cool. It seems that crossover eventing with figures is so big right now. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Let's see if it works. If I could just slide this over this ear without cutting into him. Even his paws are locked down. Oh! Bat Shadow's leg! Oh no, his arm! Quick to the Bat Medical Bay. Oh, not a good start for a very expensive figure pack. You never want to see that, but I think it's ball joints, so let's take a deep breather. A very small ball jointed hip. Once again, the spindliness of the series. Oh, and that was an elbow hinge. That's uglier than a ball joint. Okay, and so there, Shadow Bat, also known as Bat Shadow. I guess I should pull this, it's getting really squirrely. this should activate the battery pack inside Shadow Bat's super crafty accessory battle equipped bat suit Shadow. And a quick test, I'm assuming we tap on the bat. Yeah, we got a little light up bat effect. Hard to see, hard to see. Everybody got that? Everybody got that? I guess there are two schools of thought on the light up bat chest. If you buy the single carded figure, no light up effect, but might be a little bit more action figure-y, less gimmicky, are concealing the batteries pretty well, but, you know, maybe I kind of should have just went normal. But there's some other things that entice me about the battle pack. What do we got for standing? Can we get you on your feet there, Shadow Bat? Okay, he's balancing out now a little bit. Sonic figures at the 5-inch scale is so tricky because they have so much head weight up there, and that head weight just wants to bring them down. They've tried to balance this with nice footprints of feet, but those don't always hold them up because, again, there is so much weight in that head. Just to make sure at that scale height, yes, that's about a 5-inch figure scale, sometimes just a little bit larger depending on how they're standing. And he's standing, well, yes, he's standing. For now, I feel like at any moment he could step on a banana peel and just slip out. The back head there with the quills just going crazy. The extra weight of the cape will throw him backwards, but the cape is made of a somewhat light plastic leathery material. But capes often pull things down. Just that extra little balance ratio. Whoops. It's a good looking figure, but I'm starting to feel maybe the 2.5-inch figure line is going to be best for these. They hold up so much better. Articulation with these may be probably close to what we've seen with Prime. We've got head rotation, shoulders on a hinge joint that can rotate, maybe an extra forearm rotation after that shoulder, elbows on that weird hinge that I broke, and your wrist gloves are built in over the arm and opening and closing knuckles. I know a certain character who might like that. So there's good arm movement. I'm liking that. I like to be able to punch, get them into punch positions, of course, for superheroes. And the leggings, no waist rotation, but we've got the ball joint, the tiny ball that somehow holds him up at the hips, then a middle point there at the leg and a knee at another single hinge, but can rotate. And then boot shoes over the bottom of the leg with a little bit of movement hinging rotation things. So there's plenty of movement, but the figure scale size may mean a little complications in trying to get a perfect stance because they only really want to stand in certain positions before falling on a banana peel or just kind of always wanting to look down at a squirrel. It's a cool crossover look though, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Batman and Shadow, what a perfect fit. More so than some of the Turtles of Grayskull, or Transformers, He-Man, Power Rangers, Mr. Potato Head. Did they do that one? Lots of weird crossovers this past year, but I think this one pulls off well, Shadow Bat. If there's any just one that I would pick up, it would be Shadow Bat. But I'm probably leaning more towards this one now. I like the concept of this series scale a little better, as you have your classic Batman along with Shadow Bat, Bat Shadow, kind of like a suited up minion. Not sure how this storyline goes. I guess it's a mini comic, not an announced cartoon yet show, but a mini comic. But in this verse, it just kind of feels fun. I think that would be a cool team up. Batman suiting up as Shadow with a bat suit. And again, that figure scale should be able to hold up a little bit better than the large scale. I'm still deciding on opening. I kind of want to pick up the Cyborg Tails pack to get these out. Well, who's next? Who's next? I guess it's gotta be Sonic, right? Sonic as the Flash, which is just translating so weird because of the red versus blue thing. I forgot, is there like a blue version of the Flash? These are so plastic tied in. And Sonic out without an injury. Sonic Flash out of pack, no battery power for Sonic Flash. He'll be running off his own energies, I suppose. Lots of chili hot dogs with lightning in them. So it's just so odd seeing Sonic normally in blue, all in red as the Flash. Like upon seeing him at the store, I didn't even assume that was Sonic. I just saw a red hedgehog. But the crossover makes perfect logical sense, of course, Sonic being the fastest on the planet, and there we go, Flash is too. Maybe, just maybe, Superman could have been the crossover point for Sonic, but they chose instead to go with Knuckles on the DC crossover verse. Knuckles gets the super suit. which then makes Knuckles look kind of odd because now Knuckles has a lot of blue on.
What?
But Knuckles, translating into one of the strongest of the Sonic verse, I suppose, then does match up well with Superman? What do you think? What do you think? Well, we definitely know that Knuckles wouldn't be Flash. That wouldn't translate. So maybe that's where the logic went. Some of the suit details do look pretty nice on Sonic. Does look pretty nice on Sonic. Maybe we could have seen this in a blue Flash suit. I think it would have translated better. You would still have the lightning bolt in yellow and the yellow effects, but putting him in blue I think would have worked better. So articulation is going to be close to what we saw with the Shadow Bat. Although now we don't have a cape to throw off that back section, but we still have a lot of heavy quillage going to throw the figure weight this way for sure. Head rotation, of course, the same shoulders, elbow hinges, and opening and closing fist glove punches. We might actually have some waist rotation here, which is flashing me back to the Sonic Movieverse figures. It didn't seem to be utilized very much in Movieverse. There's a little bit here, and you kind of want to have some abs when you're a superhero, right? And then again to the ball-jointed hips, secondary point in that leg, knees that have that kind of single hinge but rotate and kick everywhere, ooh, and then these really cool kicks. Very yellow, very simplified for Sonic. Normally his shoes have a little more texture to them, right? But I'm feeling this figure a little more balanced than Shadow Bat because of the cape gone in the battery pack. I'm liking it. I'm liking the zoomies that this guy made performies. I don't have any Flash figures in the studio. I just did a look aroundsy to see if I had something to Flash with. That didn't come out right. I used to be the biggest Batman collector of DC, but every other character-wise, I've always just kind of not collected from, never really been a Superman fan either. It's always all Batman. There might be like a Flash Lego minifigure, and I thought we went through some Flash figures from the movie last year, but I can't even find those. I think he ran off to another multiverse already. So a Sonic Flash figure is kind of running solo here at Squirrel Stampede, but it's pretty fun. It's a fun crossover fig. It makes more sense, of course, than some of the other crossover guys we've seen in this past year. Just gotta work on those heads. They're so heavy. Okay, so who's the third Hedgehog in this pack? It's none other than Silver the Hedgehog as a Green Lantern Corps member. This one would be easy to create lore with, more so than Flash Sonic. Silver, being from the future, far off Discovery, could easily manipulate things with his psychokinetic mind, creating physical objects just like Green Lantern. It's a perfect fit. And a perfect color fit too, with the Green Lantern suit on the Silver body. With such a large corpse of Green Lantern, you could totally see this guy being in the background of any other Green Lantern thing. He's also kind of totally alien-like looking, a little bit different Hedgehogian, so it just has a perfect fit. This one might be a fan favorite for a single-carded pack. I believe there is a single-carded figure available. And once again, we fight the sinister packaging who has captured the crossover event superheroes into an exciting 3-part comic book mini-series, How to Free Oneself from the Ties of Plastictron, and what happens afterwards to their lives when they deal with the fallout from the pain of the operation. Okay, this one's turning out to be my unlikely favorite of the pack. For being a super Batman fan, I didn't realize I liked this one so much, but it's so unique. I love the power ring fist action going on with this stance. It looks so cool. I'm not heavily versed in the Green Lantern storyline other than the great Ryan Reynolds flop and what we saw Green Lantern do in the Super Friends, but I like this figure quite a bit. Actually, somewhere out there in the studio, there is a Super Friends Green Lantern. I wonder where I placed that guy. He's out Green Lanterning things, I guess. And actually, kind of like Green Lantern, I'm very unversed in Silver's lore. I don't know Silver's character very well at all. I don't believe I ever played a video game where Silver was really prominent or really in the game. It's kind of a rare thing we run across a Silver. Do we have a Silver figure? We do. I was worried that Silver was going to be one of the few carded figures I never opened and are still yet to need to open in the back catalog. I really wish they kept everything in line with the this scale. It would have kept price points a little lower too and helpful. And then we would have had this full universe of 4-inch figures instead of now having these DC figures leveled up and the Prime figures and Movieverse figures all leveled up big. 2 sizes of figures, frustrating. But isn't Silver just the most interesting looking hedgehog? The way the quills on its head is frilling upwards, and then the double quill in the back there, very alien-like in a way. Future, that's how they wear their quills in the future. You gotta have like 2 in the back that go phew phew, and then the rest up top that go phew 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 phew. Good looking Silver, good to see you today. And so with this figure here, just like the others, articulated pretty well. He has maybe the best smirk in the collection, and it's funny that smirk is just a single line and they all kind of have their own personality there. But yeah, I like how that stands. Articulation, all similar to the other 2 with the head. The shoulders, first time I really noticed that the shoulder has a little bit of reach in. There's a slight reach in under the arm there. Shadowbat definitely doesn't have because of the battery pack, but both Green Silver and Flash Sonic have that because there's room for it. And then just the rest of the articulation there in the shoulders, elbows, punching fists, and that torso movement, which is extra helpful. This suit feels a little more glossy plastic than the Flash suit felt. Then we got the ball jointed hips, midpoint leg, kicker in the knee, and well, yeah, lots of stuff in there. Too bad they didn't really articulate those head quills. And so a surprise, I like this one very much. I did not expect to have so much fun with this one. Mainly being that I don't know Silver very well, but I don't know Green Lantern really well, and the 2 just fuse together really well. That brings us to the final figure of the pack, someone to fight, Darkseid, oversized. It's harder to say because he's kind of tight in class in a world of superhero figuring. The Sonic figures are 5-inch scale, while this guy is measuring up to be about 7 inches. He's a big baddie villain though, normally, so the scale probably works well. Now Darkseid, another character I don't really follow too much in the DC world. It's always been Batman, Batman, Batman for me. I know I've seen Darkseid throw down with Superman in the animated show years ago, and he was kind of teased a little bit in the Justice League verse, but you know, I didn't even get to that Zack Snyder verse. I know him so little I had to do the Google search, is it Darkseid or Darkseid, because that's an easy one to miss. As figure likeliness goes though, it's not bad. He's not, ooh, I just scratched his shoulder, shoot. Not bad. He's usually one of those peg warmers, isn't he? So what do we got here? The review just went all DC. I guess I'm very indifferent on this. I don't have a yay or nay to this at all. In trying to decide what to collect from the Sonic DC crossover, I thought, oh yeah, we gotta get Light Up Shadow. I just want the Deluxe's figure, and then an easier way to get these 2 alongside. And then you'd get a villain to fight. Especially if you continued on with the Batman and Superman pack, and then you would have everyone against this guy, but by itself at the moment, it's kind of boring. Guess I'm just not really a fan of this guy. He's kind of weird looking. He's got like this weird triple chin being hidden by a jaw holder. He's quite oversized, but I don't think it matters. If and when I get to these guys opening up, you're gonna want him bigger than those guys anyway, so the scale works for those guys. And it actually even works better, I think, for this scale versus this scale instead of this scale. But now I'm really just wondering why, oh why, did they not cross over Darkseid with Eggman? That was a huge miss. In crossover verses, you gotta cross over the villains too, and so I would have appreciated this Darkseid 100 million times more if he was painted with an Eggman red and black pants and a yellow collar. So much more. Oh, a mustache on Darkseid. It would have been crazy cool. I would have given this figure pack 5 squirrels out of 5 had he been dressed up to be Eggman. But instead, it's more like a 3 squirrels out of 5 thing. To run through articulation really quick, head rotation, got a little waist movement there, shoulders on hinges. He's just like a Legends figure would be. Elbows, wrists, don't open hand closes, hips, rotation at second point, double hingy knees and ankles. Oh, an extra boot rotation point there. Everything you would need. So nice figure, just not who I would like it to be. So I always make the wrong decisions on the fly sometimes. I'm liking this style of the line a little bit better. I think they work smaller. It's a cooler team up thing. As a Batman collector, I really like the look of this Batman figure too. This is, I suppose, the first time I've seen a fully articulated figure of Batman from Jack Specific, right? And well, there's Superman too. So we'll get these guys going if I can find that Tails pack. And hopefully not get distracted by too much other things.
I don't know, Dan. Maybe you should get distracted by us.
Oh, I did. I sure have. Gots to say, this was the weirdest day in superhero hedgehog crossovering. If you liked today's video, please give us a squike, squirlibe, squabbing your favorite, most interesting crossover figure of the verse. Thank you so much for watching. Here's some videos YouTube recommends. That's what I have to say about that.